G'day, Glenn, the lab, Thursday, the March. Under here, carrying on with this significant chassis modification just to allow for a better position for the air filter. As I said in yesterday's video, it may have been easier simply to move the turbocharger. There kind of is room to do that. There's a turbocharger there. It could have come back easily 3, 4, even 5 inches. You know, quite a lot. I talk in inches because I used to work in the aircraft industry. So there was room to do that, but I didn't want to put it closer to the poor old alternator here. We need to try and keep that puppy cool, so didn't want to do that. So we've chopped out some of the chassis. Used to look like this under here. Just have a big radius thing, and there's a frame inside that. You'll see that in the previous video. It's got a big frame up here, and it comes along, tags onto the side of the transmission tunnel that I've built. This isn't a double panel here. This is just single skin. Good radius there. Supports the floor quite nicely. Over here on this side, we've got the frame, a double skin here. See the other video for the detail. Would have come down through there onto the floor, more importantly onto the sill, and another one to do the same job to attach it to the sill, and then there's another big section on the top doing the same thing. So we're transferring all the load that's really, it's only coming from here. There's not much other loads that it needs to deal with, putting that through into the sill quite nicely. So this piece here, it's quite important that we support the floor, because my big fat bum is just up here somewhere on top of the seat rails. Seat rails, and then there's factory rails, and there, can we even see the spot welds? I'm not sure if you can. There's some spot welds across here you might be able to see, or you might not, doesn't matter. We need to support this anyway. And what we've got here with this flimsy piece of panel steel with nothing else there isn't really going to take a lot of load here. It'll just buckle and twist at the top, and this will go up and down, and the whole car will be quite floppy and yucky. So what I'm going to do next is change that, make that stronger somehow, while still being able to actually do everything we need to do as far as getting pipes in and out, getting the motor in and out of the car, access the air filter, keep the air filter in cold air, not hot air, etc., etc. So fun and games. There will be many internet engineers laughing and saying, that won't do anything, blur, 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 and stuff and things. It actually does a lot more than I expected. I didn't anticipate that being suitable for doing the entire job that I'm trying to achieve. However, my big fat bum sitting in there bouncing up and down on the transmission tunnel and using some cunning little techniques to see how far we're moving, that puppy there is going to do the job just fine. By the time we add in some more little bits and pieces up the top and stiffen things up with the firewall, of course, which attaches on top of there and goes up further, it's actually going to be good as gold. So happy with that. Just about done with this area. Why is there a big pen scribble on my brand new thing? It looks all actually quite untidy on the screen. Looks a lot better in person. It's to do with reflections and stuff, light and stuff. Good, happy. Lunchtime. It's really getting quite nasty outside there with the weather. That's the bulk of the steel sorted out. That's reasonably rigid now, and will be better with the firewall panels installed, which kind of on this car kind of are a structural panel. I could have gone for 1.2mm thick aluminium or even thinner. Opted for 1.6 just to give it some strength. You know, I mean, I'd use the term strength loosely. It's not super strong, but it's better than what it could have been. So for the meantime, I've just put some silver VHT heatproof paint on there just because it's resistant to some chemicals short term and all that sort of carry on. It's not likely that's permanent forever. I do want to do something with the cosmetics on the car we are kind of running out of time and other things are getting on my case to get things done. So I'll put the aluminium panels on in a moment when that's had a little bit more time to dry and I've had a nice cold drink. The engine cover still fits, mostly, by sheer fluke. Although I guess if you keep that on the same plane, it should still fit, right? And it's pretty close. I could take this off. This is just riveted onto this other piece. Swap it to the other side of that panel, and it would probably do the trick. It's pretty, like I say, it's pretty close. I can actually just give that a push with my finger, and we're there. I don't want to load it up quite as much as that. It'll look funny. Speaking of looking funny, as soon as I put this on, this looked miles out. It looked like it was really downhill that way. It's out by 3 degrees, which is actually, yeah, it's a bit. So it's had a smash with a hammer, but not hammer and dolly, so you can see a bit of a dent along here. It needs a dolly on the other side, and to do that, that has to come off. So it's going to be in my list of when we get there, if we get there, if we take all this off to paint the whole thing. I want to paint the whole thing red, right? Paint it like this. It'll look awesome instead of silver, because silver shows up every single little tiny defect in your welding and everything like that. Just stands out like the proverbial. So red's much nicer, it looks better, and it looks tidier because every last little defect doesn't stand out so badly. Little trade secret. I still think I might tackle these. Bit of lunch stuck in my teeth, by the way. Just thought you'd like to know. Let's see. I might have a go at doing something with this. You knew that old engine cover was never going to stay in there, didn't you? That puppy there. That's kind of riveted. Kind of some of it welded. Could do with a couple of screws across the top. Had tape covering up some old rivet holes. Very prototype-ish. Very end of life. Time to make a better one, which is what we're up to here. Going to have to fill in a couple of holes. Well, I mean, we'll just put some screws in there, won't we? And then cover it over with more of this sound dampening, heat resistant material. Much better, much stronger, should be a little bit lighter. We'll remove effectively a strip of aluminium where the rivets are. It's 1 inch wide, and I suppose it's a couple of feet long or more, plus the weight of the rivets. Don't know if I'll bother with the sound dampening on this particular cover. Just go with I'll just go with the gold foil that we've run on a lot of things. Do it on the inside. That will now screw up against that. Lovely, beautiful, nicely, and it'll be good. This one here is actually had some beating on the top of it, as you can see. There was a little bit of a faux pas with the height of that compared to the height of the inlet manifold. You can see it's actually pretty close even on this one, and this is made quite a lot higher. Right, it is well past 6 o'clock. That's going to look pretty nice. Looking better when the seat's in there and you can't see it. Time to go. All right, cheers, bye.